Argentina came to defend their World Cup. They are leaving it defending themselves from a prosecutor. 0 shots in 90 full minutes. Their goalkeeper made 11 saves, a brand new World Cup final record, and they still lost 1-0. That is not just a defeat, that is a siege. And when the final whistle blew, instead of accepting the loss, Nahuel Molina punched Rodri in the stomach as he ran past celebrating. Leandro Paredes grabbed Eric García by the throat and slammed 19-year-old Gavi directly to the ground twice. The assistant coach, who is a former Argentina captain, punched Dani Olmo right in the face. When Olmo rejected his apology, he called Ayala a liar. Then the entire squad turned their backs during Spain's historic trophy lift. Only a single player reportedly stood facing the podium. They skipped every single mandatory interview. Not a single Argentine player apologized. Paredes finally broke his silence on Instagram, calling them the greatest Argentine team in history. He made zero mention of the throat grab. And now Enzo Fernandez is the third Argentine to ever get sent off in a World Cup final. They have officially tied Brazil's all-time record for red cards in World Cup history. 11. The massive dossier FIFA is putting together includes assault charges, a political banner they were fined for 12 years ago, and federation-level violations under 4 separate articles. Here is the complete breakdown of who is charged, what penalties they face, and how 6 of them could be banned until the next World Cup. FIFA did not just launch an investigation. FIFA formally opened a prosecution. On July 29, the disciplinary committee formally charged 3 individuals with assault under Article 14 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code. Leandro Paredes faces 3 separate counts. 3 charges of assault, not a bar fight, not some street brawl. This was a World Cup final with 80,000 witnesses, and Lionel Messi sobbing 30 yards away. That is no longer a simple disciplinary case. That is a criminal docket wearing a FIFA badge. Nahuel Molina faces 2 counts of assault. 1 completed, 1 attempted, along with a single count of unsporting behavior. Roberto Ayala faces 1 count of assault. It is the very first time a coaching staff member has been formally charged with attacking an opposing player at a World Cup final. Thiago Almada caught an unsporting behavior charge for his active role in the massive melee. 4 individuals formally named. 4 dossiers opened. 4 men who walked onto the pitch at MetLife Stadium as World Cup finalists, only to walk off as defendants in the FIFA disciplinary system. This ugly brawl did not erupt from nowhere. And if you really want to understand everything that followed, you must first understand the flashpoint. And that flashpoint has a clear name. Nahuel Molina came on as a substitute in the 58th minute, and he barely touched the ball. But when Ferran Torres struck in the 106th minute and Rodri sprinted past him celebrating, Molina swung a punch directly into the stomach of the newly crowned world champion, the Ballon d'Or winner and captain. Rodri froze. Eric García ran over to calm things down, and that is exactly where Paredes arrived. Video shows him grabbing García by the throat, a chokehold that dropped the Barcelona defender to the turf. Then Leandro Paredes turned his fury on 19-year-old Gavi, who was thrown to the ground by a 32-year-old on camera, right in front of every kid who stayed up late to watch their heroes. Almada was right alongside him, wrestling with Gavi as he tried to help his teammate, while coaching staff poured onto the pitch. Lionel Scaloni was seen sprinting around the field, desperately trying to pull his own players apart, even though the final whistle had blown minutes earlier. The match was over. What the world was watching was simply not soccer. Argentina did not even attempt to play. They only attempted to stop Spain from playing. 0 shots in 90 minutes of play. Their goalkeeper set an absolute World Cup final record with 11 saves, and they still lost. Once it ended, they chose violence over grace. The punch that crossed every line did not even come from a player. Roberto Ayala, a former Argentina captain and current assistant coach, grabbed Dani Olmo's shirt and struck him right in the face. Video exists. The footage is completely unambiguous. When Ayala went on Valencia Capital Radio to apologize, he claimed it was just a reaction to something Dani Olmo said. He called it more of a push than a punch. Dani Olmo responded through the Catalan newspaper Diari de Terrassa. His exact words were that someone who says they are sorry, but justifies a punch by claiming it was a response to a comment, is clearly not sorry because he is lying. He said, "I did not say anything to him." The victim called the attacker a liar in public on the record, capturing Argentina's apology in one single exchange. That is one count of assault against a coaching staff member. An official who is supposed to model professional behavior, someone who is supposed to protect the integrity of the game, someone who is supposed to be the actual adult in the room. Instead, he threw a punch at a 28-year-old midfielder on the single biggest stage in world soccer. During the chaotic brawl, millions of viewers saw FIFA's official match tracker display a red card for Leandro Paredes. Then, it vanished entirely, deleted from the system. FIFA later clarified through BBC Sport that it was just a commentator information system error. Absolutely no disciplinary action was taken at the time. Referee Slavo Vinčić has run games at the absolute highest level, yet on live television he either missed a clear throat grab or just looked away. No penalty. Then the card disappeared. Everyone watching saw it in real time. Enzo Fernandez picked up his first yellow card, simply for dissent. 11 minutes later, he lunged directly into Pau Barsi, a reckless tackle in the 93rd minute. Second yellow card, a red card, total madness. Argentina had to survive extra time a man down, all because one single player could not keep his discipline for 11 minutes. Any referees out there watching, is that a straight red or what? That exit made Fernandez only the third Argentine ever sent off in a World Cup final. Pedro Monson and Gustavo Doy both saw red against West Germany back in 1990. 36 years later, Argentina added another name to that list. No other country has more than one. They have three. With Fernandez sent packing, Argentina tied Brazil's grim all-time record of 11 red cards in World Cup history. Now they share the dirtiest disciplinary record in the history of the tournament. And the man who wrote his name on that list is the exact same player who sparked a massive racism scandal 2 years ago, posting a video of his team singing a vile chant about French player. The French Football Federation immediately filed a formal legal complaint. Chelsea launched internal disciplinary proceedings. It is a familiar pattern. After grabbing their silver medals from Gianni Infantino and Donald Trump, the Argentine squad headed straight for the stands. They literally turned their backs on Spain's trophy ceremony. 80,000 people inside Matif Stadium watched the defending champions refuse to face the podium as the new champions lifted the prize. Jose Manuel Lopez was reportedly the only Argentine player who kept his eyes on the stage. Just one man stood there facing the music. Jose Manuel Lopez, remember that name, because if losing with dignity looks like anything at all, it looks like him. Spain had formed a guard of honor, clapping for them as they got their medals. Argentina did not return the gesture. Once the roles reversed, they just turned around and walked away. That brutal contrast was captured in a single frame. One team showed grace, the other contempt. Every Argentine player skipped the mandatory mixed zone. FIFA rules require teams to put players in front of the media. Not one Argentine player spoke. Only Scaloni faced the press. Crying his eyes out, he claimed his squad had proven they actually know how to lose. He admitted Spain was the better team. He said it hurt his soul, and rebuilding this squad would be incredibly tough. That claim about knowing how to lose came on a night shadowed by a red card for reckless petulance. We witnessed a massive brawl involving everyone, a coach punching a player, and a completely boycotted trophy ceremony. Back in 2014, Argentina was fined 300,000 Swiss francs for dodging the media 4 times. They paid it. 12 years later, they did it again. Honestly, when I saw Paredes on Instagram, a part of me hoped they would address the drama, that maybe all that pride was just a coping mechanism. Then, I read it again. Not a single word about the throat grab, absolutely nothing about Garcia or Gavi, just endless praise for the best Argentine team in history. If you still back Argentina after this, explain it. I honestly want to understand. After Argentina beat England 2-1 in the semifinal, Giovanni Lo Celso grabbed a banner from the crowd. He held it high alongside Lisandro Martinez, Christian Romero, and Nicolas Otamendi. The banner read Las Malvinas son Argentinas, which means the Fallens are Argentine. A massive political message on the world's biggest sports stage. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's spokesperson demanded a FIFA investigation, saying that while the World Cup might not be theirs, the Falkland Islands definitely are. FIFA soon opened proceedings under Article 34, Paragraph 3, which strictly bans political messages. Back in 2014, Argentina was hit with a 30,000 Swiss francs fine for displaying that exact same message before a World Cup warm-up game against Slovenia. They paid it. And 12 years later, on the absolute biggest stage on earth, they did it again. Picture that dressing room in Qatar. December 2022, Argentina had just won the World Cup. Martinez led a chant, calling for a minute of silence for Mbappe, who is dead. Days later at the Buenos Aires victory parade, Martinez held a baby doll with Mbappe's face taped on it. The crude trophy gesture, the endless mockery. After that 2022 final, Argentina was fined £18,000 for offensive behavior. No individual players were sanctioned. That fine was basically pocket change for a world champion squad. But the video told a different story. Martinez made a lewd gesture at the trophy ceremony. Players mocked Mbappe in the dressing room while Martinez held a doll with Mbappe's face during the Buenos Aires parade. Absolutely zero individual consequences. In September 2024, Martinez repeated that same crude celebration with a Copa America trophy right after beating Chile 3-0. This time, FIFA banned him for 2 qualifiers. 6 incidents, 6 different files, 1 single national team. This is not isolated behavior, it is institutional culture. Imagine the file on FIFA's desk. It starts thin. 2017, 20,000 Swiss francs for homophobic chants. January 2024, 50,000 and a partial stadium shutdown. September 2025, 120,000 for racist behavior. Every page gets thicker than the last. Now add this tournament. Discriminatory chants, throwing objects, a political banner, 3 separate assault charges, and 1 coach who landed a punch. The file is now a massive dossier and FIFA is holding it. Picture Buenos Aires, June 2030. Argentina is hosting its first World Cup match for the centenary celebration. The entire stadium is absolutely packed. The anthem plays, and Leandro Paredes, facing 3 assault charges and a 6-match brawl ban under Article 49, is watching from home. That is the math. That is exactly what a FIFA suspension means when you are a co-host with no qualifiers to play. The heavy punishment follows them home. 6 Argentina players face potential bans stretching to the 2030 World Cup. 3 from the brawl, Nahuel Molina, Leandro Paredes, and Thiago Almada. 3 for that Malvinas banner, Christian Romero, Lisandro Martinez, and Giovanni Loels. Under FIFA's strict disciplinary code, a player who deliberately assaults someone faces a minimum suspension of 2 matches. An official faces 4. Being involved in a brawl adds at least 6 more. Leandro Paredes has 3 assault charges. Molina has 2. Argentina is a co-host for the 2030 World Cup. They automatically qualify for the massive centenary celebration, hosting a single match in Buenos Aires alongside Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Paraguay, and Uruguay. That means no qualifiers and no competitive matches before the big tournament. Any suspensions issued must be served starting at the 2030 tournament itself. FIFA banned Luis Rubial for 3 years under Article 13 for kissing Jenny Hermoso without consent at the 2023 Women's World Cup final. 3 years for a kiss. Luis Suarez received a 4-month ban, plus 9 international matches, along with a 100,000 Swiss franc fine for biting Giorgio Chiellini at the 2014 World Cup. That was the biggest ban in World Cup history back then. 3 years for an unwanted kiss, 4 months plus 9 matches, and a 6-figure fine for a bite. The question now is what you get for a throat grab, a hard punch to the face, and a banned political banner, all from the very same team at one single tournament. Punish hard, and you make an example of the sport's biggest draw. Go soft on them, and you confirm every dark whisper about different rules for different federations. FIFA definitely has teeth. The real question is whether you actually believe they will use them on the biggest draw in world soccer. An online petition titled Argentina Out gathered over 23 million signatures from 170 countries in less than a week. It became one of the most signed petitions in history, but FIFA ignored it. There won't be a lifetime ban, but a real verdict is coming. If you actually want FIFA to act, the only language they understand is attention. Every single view, comment, and share makes this file much harder to bury. The disciplinary committee has now given all respondents the chance to present their official positions. A final decision is expected in August 2026. The next international window runs September 21st through October 6th with 4 key matches. Any suspensions issued will bite immediately. The clock is already running. One man did not participate in the brawl. Lionel Messi stood 30 yards away, quietly sobbing. With 34 World Cup appearances, 21 goals, and 12 assists at 39 years old, this was almost certainly his final tournament. He walked off the pitch surrounded by a chaos that had nothing to do with him. The man with 8 Ballon d'Or awards, watching his last World Cup memory get rewritten in real time. Spain lifted the trophy, Argentina lifted a heavy dossier as the investigation went straight to FIFA. The biggest question now is which version of FIFA shows up to deliver this verdict. The one that banned Rubial for 3 years and Suarez for 4 months plus 9 international matches. Or the one that let Argentina walk away from 2022 with a small fine they could pay from petty cash. That verdict is coming fast. When it lands, the names in that dossier, Paredes, Molina, Ayala, Almada, Loailes, Romero, and Martinez, will finally find out if the next World Cup happens with them or completely without them. For the old heads, have you ever seen anything worse in a final? 3 assault charges, 2 parallel investigations, and 6 players who might miss the next World Cup entirely. The camera footage clearly answered whether Argentina disgraced themselves. The question is whether FIFA treats them like any other federation, or whether being the team of Lionel Messi buys you a totally different rule book. If you've ever defended Argentina's edge, is this where you draw the line? If you've always called them dirty, is this the ultimate proof? And if you've ever worked inside a professional dressing room when things went wrong, what did the cameras actually miss? Drop your thoughts below. I'm tracking this verdict. Once it lands, you'll get the complete breakdown right here.